The question is, can we be off Liverpool to signing Roberto Di Zerbi in the summer window? Today, my friends, we have tons of stories to get through. So many stories, in fact, that I have to do a double upload of news today. So sit back, relax, and let's break down everything that's been going on this past 24 hours. Let's try and get 2K likes and getting straight into the news. To start with things, I want to break down the massive story that came out late last night. I wasn't actually in yard to cover it at the time, but the story is so big that I can't just ignore it. But last night it was confirmed that we are set to sign Brentford's set-piece specialist coach in Bernardo Cuevas. Now he will join us at the end of the season, and it's actually big news to know that we're hiring our number one option. Now Brentford under Cuevas have been known for their set-piece routines, their creativity. I think this season, from expected goals from set pieces, they've only scored 7 out of 12, but that has more to do with the player quality. But I found some very interesting stats, and one thing I'm going to look at when it comes to looking at set pieces is the average height in the league. Now, it's no surprise that Everton, for example, ranked best when it comes to scoring from set pieces this season, and it's no surprise that they also have the tallest squad in the Premier League with an average height of around 186 centimeters. Us, on the other hand, we rank 19th in average height. Our average height is 178 centimeters, and Brentford ranked 9th with an average height of 183 centimeters. Now, when you actually look at the Brentford squad, there are some similarities in terms of the height. Now, I think their height gets boosted dramatically because they have some of the best aerial defenders in the league. So when I look at the hiring of Bernardo Cuevas, I think to myself, it's quite clear that we must optimize how effective our defenders are and potentially a striker is when it comes to attacking and defending set pieces. Now, Cuevas is known for introducing so many different set piece routines, styles and patterns, and you regularly see Brentford doing like pack style set piece routines, or routines where they're emphasizing flick-ons or balls to the far post and short corners as well too. And with the variety that you see in their set piece routines, it's quite clear that this is the benefit you can have from having a specialist in this area who only focuses on finding the best possible set piece routines against the oppositions you're playing against for times when you need to use them. I think that's what gives Brentford a massive advantage. And, you know, in this country and in football in general, scoring from set pieces is key. A lot of times we've won league titles or secured Champions League spots, it has been because of effective set-piece plays. And normally in seasons when we've struggled, our set-piece patterns, routines and goals scored from them or goals conceded from them dramatically fall down from the numbers they should be at. So I'm more than fine with this news. I'm really happy by it, to be fair with you. We've known that the club are looking to create their own specialist set-piece department, and I think we must do something like this to follow the trends now in the Premier League, because clubs like Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Nottingham Forest as well recently, they've all hired their very own set-piece specialist coaches. So the fact that we are getting one of the league's best from Brentford, I think that's a massive coup. So it's good that Pochettino was on board. Originally, he was a bit, skeptical. He's like, a specialist really needed in the game. Let's not undermine the role of the manager, of the coach. We have our own, set piece guy, Antonio Jimenez, like what's going on right now. But to be honest, we haven't replaced someone in this position since Anthony Barry left us to join Tuchel at Bayern Munich. So listen, if this is the current meta in the league right now, we can't be falling behind it. And my thing is, I want to see the gradual improvement in what happens with our set pieces, because I also think that player quality matters as well. But it's quite clear that under Cuevas, he's able to find smart solutions based on the dynamics of the team that he's working with. So that's the first big story out the way. Let's now discuss the second story. A big report was dropped by the Times today, and they revealed that us and Liverpool now are in competition to try and hire Roberto Di Zerbi at the end of the season, because there is a growing sense at Brighton that they are accepting that this could be Di Zerbi's final season. And it's based on something I said in my last video on Di Zerbi. Right now, he feels a bit disgruntled. And I think if we can empathize with the manager, if we don't act cynical, and if we try to understand why Di Zerbi may be feeling like this, it's quite obvious that the ambitions that he has don't suit Brighton anymore. Now, since the summer and especially in January, Di Zerbi hasn't been that excited by the business done. He was really hoping that reinforcement comes in January. Instead, he gets another young player to work with and a very talented left back in Valentin Barco, but he quite clearly isn't ready to be playing week in, week out right now. He is a player for the future. De Zerbi had a phenomenal season with Brighton last season, but realistically, when you've lost out on your Caicedos, McAllisters, Colwell, players who are very instrumental behind your ideas and the development of them and how you play, you're going to be going backwards regardless if you're not able to invest that money wisely into signing players close enough to their level. And that's one thing that Brighton don't have. Now, it hasn't helped that they've had injuries after injuries after injuries, and for a manager like De Zerbi who wants to continue where his work left off, this start-stop nature isn't really conducive behind his needs and what he wants to do. And with clubs like us really looking at him strongly, Liverpool seeing him as the successor to Jurgen Klopp, and figures at Barcelona hoping to entice him there as well too, it's no surprise that he has some of Europe's biggest clubs after him because they buy into his ideas, they buy into his management, and they also agree with his football. Now, I've seen many cynical takes of, De Zerbi defensively, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I fully get that. And it simply comes down to this. In any system you use, it comes with a risk and a reward. Now, last season with Brighton, we could see the full abilities and capabilities of De Zerbi's football because they had a team that had a better quality and class of player. But most importantly, they had a team that was on fire and in great form. If players are confident with the manager playing a great job in maintaining the levels of positivity, the ambition and charisma in his team, it's no surprise why teams will overperform. I think one of the famous examples this season would be what Michel Sanchez is doing with Girona. Where, listen, Girona, they've been scoring goals for fun. They find themselves second in La Liga, but they've also been susceptible to those counter-attacks in behind, 2-3 balls in the middle that dissect them. The fact is that gets minimized because they're playing like a game nearly every single week. They got no European demands. All their players are in excellent form right now. And in games where things could have gone against them in certain moments, they're capitalizing on their great form, their positivity, and they're making that difference in front of goal. That's what De Zerbi wants to do with his football. And I do think with a better caliber of player to work with, they will execute those defensive deficiencies that can come with his football. But equally at the same time, it's not like he's coached your Liverpools or your Bayerns or big clubs of that nature. He has been with mid-table clubs, and he has got mid-table clubs overperforming, getting them into Europe and doing big things with them. And I think maybe the biggest club he's technically worked with was Shakhtar Donetsk, and they gave a very good account of themselves in European football. So I definitely don't agree with some of the criticisms against De Zerbi, especially when no manager is technically perfect. For myself, the only reason why I see De Zerbi as the guy I would like to see replace Pochettino if Poch does get dismissed, it's purely based on the fact that he has already worked with some of the big money players that we've hired already. I just think that it makes the most sense. Like right now, we need to be a team that has a sense of identity, that has ideas, that has plans, a way to play, a way to be. We can't just be a team that is looking to play for results because we don't have that type of experience that can take advantage of playing for moments and playing for results. We aren't good enough to do that. I respect that people feel like you want to see a mentality manager at the club, but mentality managers need experience and players with bigger mentality. Our guys, our young players aren't on that level right now, so it just doesn't make sense for me. And I just think that it's more of a human reaction to being disappointed behind how we've lost games and moments, and thinking quite easily, it's the mentality, it's the motivation. We need a Mourinho or someone who can come in and kick these guys up the arse. I get it. We've rotated through so many different managers with their different beliefs and systems, ideas, blah, blah, blah. It's like we're going back to square one again. But for myself, I'm going for De Zerbi based on the fact that I think logically, on what we have in this squad right now, he makes the most sense to be able to take advantage of that based on having a previous relationship with a lot of these guys already. So that's only my opinion. I'd love you guys to share your thoughts and opinions below. Do you think there's a chance we can sign De Zerbi? It'll be very expensive. He has like a 10 mil release clause, and there's competition from big clubs across Europe. So time will tell. But my final point I like to say though is that, listen, Brighton also have one of the smallest squads in the Premier League. And considering all the business we've made in hiring Enzos, Caicedos, Lavias, we're one of the smaller squads too. And I think a lot of these players were signed specifically so we could play a more technical possession style of football. I think that's why these guys were signed. And I think maybe this is why De Zerbi makes the most sense, to be able to make sense of the squad that's being built here right now. So again, my final take, and make sure you guys leave your takes below. We have a big story from the Evening Standards, and Nizar Kinsella confirms that we are heavily following Leny Yoro and we are heavily weighing up a move to sign him this summer. Now, Lenny Yo is one of the most exciting team prospects in Europe right now. Every massive, serious super club is trying to sign him, with Paris Saint-Germain showing the most efforts right now to get him to sign because Leny Yo is Parisian born. Now, what's very exciting is that he has 1 year left in his deal. His contract expires in 2024, so he wouldn't cost you too much money. But because he is so affordable now, it means that competition and the race to sign him just got that hotter and got that harder. Anyway, in the article, it was revealed that our new ownership's ambition was always to have at least 2 to 3 of the world's best under 23 prospects in each position in our football club. Fair enough. I think we do have some excellent young talents in the team. It's a shame that we just don't have a team right now though, which is the saddest thing. But quite clearly, we are in the market to sign a centre-back. Obviously, Silva's set to leave. Chalobah's set to go as well too. And based on all the reports, it seems like the 3 main candidates are Diomande, Yoro, and Todibo of Nice. So I feel like either one of these players will be signed. Very expensive, and it just goes back to something I keep saying all the time. But, let's say hypothetically you sign a Leny Yoro. I'm guessing it'll be Colwell and Yoro as your centre-back partnership. Then on the bench, you're going to have like 140 million worth of centre-backs in Badiashile, Disasi and Fofana, with one of these guys most likely being out of matchday squads. I just think that is this the best use of funds when it comes to re-strengthening, key concerning needs in the team. I'm not too sure. It feels a little bit irresponsible. I think that defenders will always exist in the market, and normally, you don't need to sign the very best prospect defensively to have a team that defends well, because defending really is about the partnerships. It's about the relationship, how they play together, more than the individual quality of these players. Leny Yo performs well because he has that experience alongside him. And then on top of that, we hope to sign a left back in the market too, which means that the positions in centre back, which means that the positions in defence get smaller and there are less minutes to distribute, because ideally you're not looking to rotate your defence out week in, week out. That doesn't make any sense at the highest level. Man City can afford to do that because many of their defenders have been at the club for a long time. That's what it normally takes. I think he's an exciting prospect, but there are millions of exciting prospects, and just signing the very best of all of them doesn't make you the very best team. So that's the Leny Yoro news out the way, and we end things by discussing left back target news. And it seems like Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth is the left back we hope to target this summer. Now, this report came from the Daily Mirror, and we've identified him already, as it has been confirmed that he has been on our scouting radar now for a very long time. Our sporting directors feel like he is the best candidate to bring some improvement at left back, as we know that players like Lewis Hall and Maatsen are guaranteed to leave, and there are doubts around Cucurella's future. Now, Ben Chilwell was probably set to remain here because he signed a big contract worth nearly 200,000 a week. So this guy isn't just going to get shipped off just like that. It does seem like he is back to training with the first team. There is a video clip that got released today, and I'm glad this came out because rumors came out on social media, and this is why you can never just blindly believe what you read, because social media is too reactive. And there was talks that with the, contact injury that Ben suffered against Brentford, obviously it was known that he saw a knee specialist, and the rumours suggested that he was set to miss significant amounts of time out due to this injury. But that was quite obviously capped, because not only is Ben returning back to first team training, but he's also been announced in the England squad as well too, alongside Conor Gallagher and Cole Palmer. So if we're going to sign a left back, it's going to be for competition alongside Ben. And I think it's key, because I think Pochettino would be quite frustrated by The options he's had to turn to at left back this season, I think he wants some consistency. Of course, Ben's been out for a long time. He misses him there. He didn't trust Ian Maatsen in that position. And obviously, Cucurella, I just don't think he's been the signing we had hopes for, because in terms of what he does in the final third, how he progresses the ball, how he attacks, I think there's too many limits in this game currently. But Kerkez fits the mold we're looking to sign, and it seems like we want to sign a powerful runner at left back, someone that can basically play box to box like Ben, but has more explosiveness that can affect the game in the final third. And for myself, Kerkez would be like my regen of like a Theo Hernandez type of fullback, where I think defensively he's good, but their best defensive qualities actually come from being more proactive, in the sense of like, okay, if you know the winger's about to receive, this guy's already left his line, is getting ready to win that duel from behind, pin that winger back, win it back quickly and kickstart an attack. I think that is the profile we are going for. My only thing with Kerkez is he recently signed for Bournemouth last summer for 15.5 million. He has a long-term contract signed. If you hope to sign him, how much money could he go for? Would it be like over 40 million, over 50 million? Can we afford to sign players for 50 mil a piece again this summer? Potentially, but it really comes down to how much investment we bring in first to understand what our budget is to play with this summer. That is the key thing. And on top of that too, Kerkez is getting interest, light interest from Liverpool, but serious interest from Man United, who now have their own new owners, and they're looking to make some big, waves now in the summer window this year. So it's going to be quite hard, because again, if you want quality players, most quality players are being targeted by quality clubs. So it's competition, baby. So my friends, on that note, that is some of the news stories that came out. There is going to be another news video coming out later today, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And my friends, on that note, I am Leny FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later tonight with another video. Cool.